Earlier this week, the world's largest retailer, Walmart, launched their first rebrand in 20 years. This refresh introduces an updated logo, updated colors, and a new set of illustrations for the brand. We're going to take a look at this brand refresh, why I think they did it, and what my thoughts are. But before we get into it, be sure to support the show by giving this episode a like, leaving a comment, and of course by subscribing. This is Ziggy the Designer, the show where we talk about the world of graphic design and the people that make it move. Design is all around us, so we might as well talk about it. Now, Walmart is probably the most influential company in the world right now. Walmart is the largest company in the world in terms of revenue. They are ranked first in the Fortune 500, which uses revenue as a primary factor in determining where companies are ranked. They are also the largest employer in the world. According to Statista, their employee count is over 2 million people worldwide. So for a company this big to refresh their brand, it's a big deal. It's more than just a new logo. Right, it's a signal to pretty much every other company in the world. It's Walmart saying, hey, here is where retail is going to go. So what does this new brand look like? Well, let's get into it. Overall, the main brand changes aren't that big. This brand refresh is really more about refinements than any major changes. The blues and the yellows are more vibrant compared to before. The word mark is tighter, with Walmart opting for a bolder font and some tighter kerning. We also see a change in the Walmart Spark icon. Much like the word mark, the Spark also got a little bit tighter, removing some of the negative space that we saw in the previous mark. The change that excites me the most, though, is the introduction of illustration. We're getting a new illustration style that's going to be seen across stores and across Walmart's digital platforms, right? These illustrations span uses for icons, product illustrations, and out-of-home placements. Illustration, this is an element that we've seen in a lot of the smaller, more specialty retailers, like Warby Parker comes to mind immediately. So to see illustration being used in a retailer as big as Walmart, it's exciting for me. So why do I think they did it? Walmart is refining their game on all platforms. They're refining their e-commerce, they're refining their merchandising, they're refining their in-store experience. Walmart's VP of Creative, David Hartman, says about the refresh, "It's more about aligning the visual expression with how the brand has evolved since 2008, the last time they refreshed the brand. What that means in a more practical sense is really establishing ourselves as truly an omnichannel retailer versus just a brick and mortar retailer, and being able to serve the customer no matter where or how they want to encounter the brand." So it's really about preparing customers for brand interactions in store, digitally, and beyond. With all of these customer experience improvements, with all of these refinements, it only makes sense that Walmart does the same with their branding. Now, I don't know about you all, but growing up, Walmart wasn't ever really my first choice when it came to shopping. The stores were unorganized, they were dirty, and Walmart store associates were pretty much checked out the entire time. But as time has gone on, Walmart has really stepped up their game. It's a place I find myself when I want to do some everyday shopping. Stores are cleaner, product quality is better. The entire Walmart experience is just more sophisticated than it was 2 decades ago. I was in Charlotte, North Carolina this past fall, and I stopped in a Walmart store to pick some stuff up, and my jaw hit the floor when I walked in. I don't know if you can tell by the pictures here, but Walmart is using digital display boards as part of their visual merchandising. It adds a dynamic element to how they're displaying product and how they're displaying the brands that they carry. I haven't seen these, even in Target yet, so Walmart is really pushing this forward. And you're also telling me that Walmart is carrying Reebok and Chaps? I'm sorry, Walmart, I wasn't familiar with your game. So as Walmart improves and as they continue to improve, on all fronts, on all platforms, it's important for them to have a brand identity that matches the trajectory they're on. So what do I think? I do think that this brand refresh feels more refined. The new blue and yellow, right? They feel like more of an intentional color decision rather than, picking some random Adobe color presets. The tightening of the word mark and the tightening of that Walmart spark is an improvement I didn't know Walmart needed until I saw it. And the introduction of illustration is that cherry on top, right? Illustration is a great tool to make a brand feel more friendly and approachable. It's a great opportunity for a brand to really show off its personality. And I'm a fan of the example we have on screen here. It feels inviting as you're entering the store. And as a designer, I appreciate the refinements that were made to Walmart's brand identity. This refresh was done really well. On a technical level, and also as a designer, I think it's hard to point out anything wrong with this. This really was done pretty well. I think this is an airtight brand refresh. Now, do I think Walmart needed to do this? No, I don't. I think this brand refresh was very unnecessary. Marketing Dive reports that Walmart is working with 3 agencies to roll out this brand refresh. They're working with Jones Knowles Ritchie, Landor, and Publicis. They're paying 3 major creative agencies to execute this brand refresh. If I had to guess, this is easily a 7-figure project, right? And thinking of, the opportunity cost of spending over $1 million to roll out a brand refresh, when the changes are, let's be honest, the changes are pretty marginal, you got to question if it was worth it, because Walmart isn't only refreshing an app or their website, right? They need to bring these updates to their stores as well. Thinking about in-store signage, thinking about employee vests, thinking about the big signs out in front of the stores. They have to roll this out to pretty much every store in the country. And it goes beyond stores too, right? They need to roll this out at their warehouses. They need to roll this out at the corporate level, their headquarters in Arkansas. So to spend 7 figures on, what is essentially going from spelling gray with an A to spelling gray with an E, I can't help but question if it was worth it. Now, do these numbers matter to Walmart? No. They're a multi-billion-dollar company. This is a drop in the bucket for them. But I feel their money could have been better spent on something like an ad campaign, right? I feel like an ad campaign could have communicated what they were trying to communicate at a far lesser cost. But how do you feel about Walmart's brand refresh? Are you a fan? Do you think they should have kept what they had before? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. That's all I have for you. Be sure to give this episode a like, subscribe, and share. I've been Ziggy the Designer. If there are 2 things you need to know about me, it's 1, I love design. And 2, I'm very opinionated. I'll talk with y'all later. Bye-bye.